Nigerian waiting to get visa on arrival. You will be deported. Hi guys.
Hi.
Since the last time you saw me was with myself and Helen at the airport bidding you farewell to Tanzania, well, we are back. The shortest trip to Africa, and we're here to, basically share our experience and how we were treated in Tanzania.
It was the shortest trip, but it was very eventful, and there are a few things that happened in that trip that we felt like we need to talk about because they're important topics that I think the whole world should hear, especially Africans. Seriously.
Yeah.
Adanna and I are very meticulous people. Medics Abroad runs on the fact that we can organize schedules, right?
Exactly.
So even our whole trip, like we had hour by hour organized, right? So when it comes to figuring out if we need a visa or not for Tanzania, best believe that Adanna's checked, I've checked, David checked.
Yeah.
We checked together.
If you're going to a country that you need a visa, when you go to the check-in desk, they would make sure that you have a visa before they even let you board. So the Emirates lady said to me, are you getting a visa on arrival or do you have a visa? And I said to her, I'm getting a visa on arrival. She was able to let us through because the one system that they all logged into let them know that Nigerians would get visas on arrival.
So we were on our way, and then we had a good flight. We transited in Dubai. We landed, and we were very happy to be in the warm weather. I took one picture of the International Airport.
Welcome to Julius Nyerere International Airport.
And then, we go down the short corridor, down the stairs into this sort of chaotic immigration system.
Thank you.
There were no queues. I think people just kind of figured that there were 3 counters, so we kind of queued up that way. But between us and the counter were 2 immigration officials who were just, I guess, standard checking your passport or whatever. So Adanna went first to meet up with this lady.
And this lady said to me, wait here. Listen, I was like, I don't even know what the meaning of wait here is.
Do you know what? When she said wait here, she actually said, wait over there. And she didn't even point you to a specific place. It was just like, over there.
Just literally shush out of the line without even giving me information. And I was like, I'm sorry. When you're hoping to get visa on arrival and someone tells you wait here, am I waiting here for somebody to talk to me about the application form? Or what am I waiting here doing? Because there's more than 1,000 people back there.
It's funny because when it got to my point, I was like, okay, madam, why am I going to wait over there? She said, it's the rules, just wait over there. I was like, okay, so we went and we stood for a while and she was not paying attention to us at all. So Adanna was like, let's go to another counter. So we went to another immigration officer who took our passports, looked at our Nigerian passports and kind of got confused. I was like, wait here, I'm going to find someone. So he was like perusing the whole area looking for someone to deal with us. So it was like they were passing us from person to person because nobody wanted to deal with these Nigerians. At this point, it was probably like an hour after we had landed.
Yeah.
Before they then led us into
this room. Exactly. So this is where the wait began. When we were going into the room, please, Helen, you need to repeat what I said to you.
I was like, oh my god, maybe they think we're like 2 prostitutes or something. Then I was like, no, we're the giants of Africa. They're probably just taking us.
It started to dawn on us when we were waiting and waiting and waiting.
And people kept coming in and out. So we even remember those 2 immigration ladies who came in and were like, oh, why are you here? We're like, oh, we're Nigerians. We're just waiting to get visa on arrival.
Oh, you're Nigerian waiting to get visa on arrival. You will be deported. So, she laughed, right? And, obviously the reaction was, honey, this is not even the place and the time to make a joke. A Nigerian would deal with that very differently. Like if somebody wants to deport you, they'll be dead serious, look you in the face and tell you be deported. But this lady was laughing.
Yeah, and then so I think the next person who came in and he was like, so where's your referral letter? And we were like, no, so we're here because, you know, the website says you can get visa on arrival. We're Nigerian citizens. We have permanent residency in Ireland. He was like, no, you need a referral letter. We're like, oh no, but we're not Nigerians who live in Nigeria. We're Nigerians who live in Ireland. And he was like, yeah, it doesn't matter, all Nigerians.
So I said to him, so where does this referral letter come from? And he says, oh, it has to come from the High Commission in Abuja. I was like, okay, we do not live in Abuja. Like, we live in Ireland, and as per the, you know, the immigration laws, you know, what we were told, and the relationship with both countries, if you do not have a Tanzanian embassy in Ireland, we were told, then you get your visa on arrival. So because we have permanent residencies in Ireland, they said we were eligible to get our visas on arrival. So basically, the letter from the High Commission in Abuja shouldn't apply to us. Well, he claimed that the laws changed very recently.
21st of September.
21st of September. My correspondence with the Tanzanian embassy in the UK was on the 5th of September, and there was no information updated on their website. And so this is the point we're trying to get across to him. He's like, wait here. We're waiting for another hour. The next thing we see is an official from Emirates. Literally, he comes in with this piece of paper. So, where are the girls that are being sent back? Oh my goodness.
I was like, Helen.
I was like, Helen,
stand up.
I was like, Helen, stand up. Some things have gotten real. I was like, excuse me, what do you mean? Like, we've been sitting in here for close to 2 hours. Nobody has given us any information. Nobody has given us a listening ear. We've not even compared or fact checked, because what you're telling me is completely different from the information I was given from the country that I'm coming from. Like, can we compare information here?
And it's so funny because we tried at different points to just get someone to listen to us. Then they let us to get our suitcase. We're like, okay, fine, let's just go get our suitcases so our suitcases don't get left in Tanzania. Then they led us again to
the Emirates counter.
Yeah, and it was always an Emirates staff and a Tanzanian immigration officer
following us. Yeah,
we got to the counter, and at this point they had collected our passports when we had landed, so we hadn't seen our passport at all. And I was so worried.
Yeah,
I was very worried about that.
Yeah, Helen kept asking, where's our passport? They're like, don't worry about your passports. I'm like, okay.
And then, so when we got to the counter, at this point, I think they were checking us in or whatever. So we were even trying to talk to the lady at the counter to kind of explain what was going on. And they just kept dismissing us and shouting at us. She's like, no, just we're checking you. I was like, okay, please wear our passport. Don't forget about your passport. I'm like, no, I'm not gonna forget about my passport.
Oh God, this is where things got a bit serious for me. Yeah, because I kept saying to them, I need to speak to that chief immigration officer who's come here for all of 2 seconds and gone away. If he's the boss, I need to speak to him about these laws that have changed for Nigerians, because I'm sorry, I don't have any letter from the High Commission in Abuja. They're like, oh, you got to speak to him. I was like, well, for 2 seconds, and at the time that I spoke to him, I was worried about why we were kept in the room. The issue of being sent back out of the country had not yet come up. So I really need to have a conversation with him. And they're like, oh, you have a conversation with him if you follow us. So like Helen said, we kept following them, past immigration, got our suitcases, went back through, went to the Emirates counter. They printed out the stickers. One of the guys in the front counter walks over and he's tearing out the old sticker on my suitcase. And all I stood there thinking was, well, Adanna, you do realize if they take out the old stickers and put the new ones, then you're 100% gonna be deported, right? But I thought, well, if we leave things the way it is, and I have a chat to the chief immigration officer, then maybe we can come to an understanding, you know? Oh my God. So I said to the guy, you know, I'm not checking in my suitcase until I can speak to your chief security officer. And this guy went so aggressive.
Do you know, just watching it was quite, I was like, oh my God, is this guy actually getting physical?
He literally was physically pushing my dragging my suitcase. I was like, honey, no, I didn't come to play. I was dragging my suitcase with this guy. He was trying to tear out the sticker. I was taking his arm. I was like, do not touch my bag. Do not touch my bag. And the lady said, do you want your suitcase to get missing? It's going to get lost. I'm like, no, my suitcase is not going to get lost because it's staying here right with me. Nobody is touching my suitcase. Nobody's checking my suitcase back to Dubai until I can speak to your chief immigration officer. Eventually, I think they realized, okay, this chick is crazy. So they left my suitcase alone. So then the chief immigration officer arrived and I was like, he's like, well, I told you already that you're being sent back. Listen to me.
This was very annoying.
He's like, listen to me. You have to understand this. Whether or not you have a visa, I don't care. The person who grants you entry into a country is the immigration officer. And listen to me clearly. Both of you are going back. I was like, whoa.
I know things he was. Whoa. The way he was speaking was just so aggressive. He was shouting, pointing in her face, and I was like, it's not that, like, it's serious, but like, this is so disrespectful. You could easily pass the information across without having to be so aggressive. I know at this point they were treating us badly. We finally followed them, went upstairs, were waiting to board, and then some guy came and shoved some papers in our faces and said, just sign.
Oh God, he's like, just sign. He shoved it in front of Helen. Holding on to the paper and pointing to where we're going to sign is not gonna cut it. You have to explain to me what the hell we're signing. I was like, you're not dealing with idiots here. You need to, what are we signing? What's this paper? Oh, it's nothing. It's just a letter saying this is the reason why you're not being let into the country. I was like, well, we need to see what that reason is.
But do you know, I noticed a shift in the way we were treated from when they didn't know we were doctors to when they found out that we were doctors.
Yeah.
So we're black women traveling together, we don't get any respect, but you only respect us when you see that we're doctors.
We get escorted by this Emirates staff who, you know, who was the most respectful of all of them. And then on our way back to the plane, he says to us, I'm really sorry, you're right, the information on the website says you can get visa on arrival. So what the immigration officers are telling you is not reflecting on our system at the moment. They ushered us back to the plane, basically. I think everything else from there is just like one of the unfortunate things that happened. Like, obviously we then arrived in Dubai and there was no flight until the next morning, so we had like a 10-hour wait in Dubai.
Remember when we landed, there was an Emirates staff who Adanna was asking, we have this long stay, do you have any arrangements for us since we're going to have to wait for so long?
And he said to us, well, unfortunately there's a stigma that comes with people being put back on a plane. And while we can try to be nice to you here, that's all we can do. It's a much better service than the way I'm sure you were treated in Africa, like you had leprosy.
I'm like,
I'm sorry, what? What? I mean, the fact that you said that to me was very shocking, but were we treated like that? The actual truth is, yes, we were actually treated very, very disrespectfully when we arrived in Tanzania.
Ever since we put this out on social media, we've had people share their own stories with what they experienced in the Tanzanian immigration service, and I'm going to read a few out. Someone said, I had the worst experience when I landed in Tanzania as well. I didn't need a visa and they kept trying to tell me I did. Anyway, luckily I knew a tad bit of Swahili, and then the custom officer wouldn't give me back my bags until I gave him my contact number and Facebook details.
What?
Okay.
What?
And then another one was, when I went to Tanzania, they were weird and rude. I landed at 11:30, didn't leave the airport till 3:30 a.m. They let everyone go ahead of me. I was scared they'll refuse me entry. They couldn't understand how a Nigerian lived and worked in Ireland. I feel that's the only reason they let me in. I told myself that I won't be hurrying back there.
Once you have a passport within an African country and you attempt to travel within Africa, you're treated like you're an alien Whereas we open our doors to every foreigner who wishes to walk into the country. I think there's a problem there, and it's highly disappointing. We were coming into the country to form hospital partnerships for medics abroad, to form partnerships with humanitarian organizations for our Medics Abroad Foundation. Through our travel, we're going to inspire other Africans to want to visit Tanzania, and literally just by that experience that we had at the immigration, that relationship has been severed.
The thing is, we know that the way we were treated is not reflective of all Tanzanians, and we get that. However, it's very difficult for us to, have trust in that system, especially if we're sending people to Tanzania to, have a safe, enjoyable experience. But you can't have that if you're not even getting that from the moment you land. It wasn't welcoming at all, and unfortunately we'll just have to take our business somewhere else.
Honestly, the problem is with the entire African continent. Travel is becoming more mainstream. A lot of people are seeing like cute photos, adventurous photos online, and they want to experience it. And obviously your travel and adventures are going to be restricted if you know that you're hopping to like 50 different embassies to apply for 50 different visas. I really don't understand why Africans have access to 22% of the continent visa free. 22%, whereas Europeans, South Americans, North Americans, everybody just walks into the continent and we open our arms and our doors, but then fellow Africans come and we're treating them like we're aliens. I think we're like our worst enemies, guys.
So true.
Seriously. You see that article that came out recently, BBC, Aliko Dangote, the richest man in Africa, he needs 38 visas
or so.
Yeah, he needs about 38 visas to travel around Africa. Like, this is something that really, really needs to change. And we decided to come on here, to slightly rant about our experience because it was not nice, but also to anybody watching, if this makes any impact at all by talking about it, really, our leaders in Africa need to actually start establishing relationships with each other.
Yeah.
Thank you for all of the amazing feedback that we got on the Instagram post. We felt like it was a community of people rooting for us. And although Tanzania didn't work out, there's a lot of Africans who kept saying, come to our country.
Yeah, like Zambia, Uganda.
Yeah, there's a lot of Zambians, Uganda, Ghana,
Rwanda, South Africa as well. So thanks for inviting us.
Yeah, it made us really, really excited because we're thinking, oh my God, we're definitely at some point going to establish relationships, because the goal of Medics Abroad is to expand all over Africa. So anyone listening who has any influence at all in the immigration system in your various countries, we really, really need to do something to change the way that Africans are perceived in their own home.
And how we relate
how we relate with each other, because if we don't have that on lockdown, like, why are you surprised when you're treated badly when you leave the continent? You need to love yourself before you can get people to love you. And by loving yourself, I mean Pan-African. We need to act like a unit, like Wakanda, guys. Wakanda. Peace. Hi, kid. Hi, Kiki.
I can call you Anna and play.
Hello, my love. Aww. How are you? Hi, kid. We're just ranting about Tanzania. Do you want some juice? Who's that?
Kian. Mama Helen.
Yeah.